Hello MMA community, YouTubers, and all those people out there who like to make money and watch these fights while they're having fun, seeing their money piling up. All right, this is one of the most important segments of the week, I would say, because not only is it free, but it's gonna be the one that gets you the best bang for your buck. And if you guys look back, it's the segment of the week that I'm gonna include not just the underdogs, which pay obviously the best out of the card. Your underdogs, they pay the better because they give you plus money most of the time. And also it's going to include the fades of the week, which means that you can put the most chalk against those fighters out of anybody else because they're the most guaranteed ones to not let us down when it comes to losing the fights like they're supposed to be. That's why they're faded of the weeks. And also my parlay combination for free, which is the one that's going to pay the best out of anything else I can offer you, because parlays are where you add on all your most confident picks into one bet slip, and they give you way more better odds than if they were just individually wagered on instead. All right, and if you look at my track record with my fades, since I've started this channel from the beginning, I've never got a fade wrong. Anytime I've ever given you a fade of the week, the guy got knocked out. Not just beat, but knocked out cold, or the referee had to stop the fight. So my track record for fades of the week, if you go back, is 100%. And that's why I always tell you, if I give you a fade of the week, it's money in the bank. You can put as much chalk as you want against this fighter. They're gonna lose. So like the Shoguns, the Anderson Silvas, the who else did I can't even remember my own fades of the week, but every time I've given you a fade of the week, they got knocked out. What was it? That guy that fought Maurice Green, I think it was, when he fought Greg Hardy. Yeah, that was one of my fades. So I always give you guys somebody who you could count on to lose the fight. So that's going to be this segment. I'm also going to give you underdogs, which I'm pretty accurate on most of the time. Like that week when the week that I picked the most underdogs I've ever picked on in 1 week was probably Khabib's card, which was like a month ago. That I had 3 underdogs. Not just all 3 of those hit for us, but in parlays, and the entire card. That was the card where I even if you look a few days before the event, it was the first time I opened up my Twitter for this channel. It was the first event. I posted this was during the time when I used to post my slips for free so that you guys can, before joining the Patreon, I wanted to be, before I made a name for myself and you guys could know who I am and what I'm doing, I was putting my slips up before the event started for free, which is what the patrons are paying for now. And if you look, out of 10 of my slips, my parlays, I had 9-leggers, 12-leg parlays with the entire full card on one bet slip, including my 3 underdogs. Well, 85-1 odds, we hit that. We cashed those more than one. We hit 2 of them were more than 10-leg parlays, or 3 of them were more than 10-leg parlays. Then we had a 9-legger, an 8-legger, a 7-legger. Every single one of my parlays that week, except for one bet slip out of like 12 that didn't cash in, which was like a $50 wager. The rest of them, which was my smallest wager actually, because I knew it was like I had taken a long shot on like a submission prop that was paying like 800-1 or something, or 8-1, something crazy like that. Besides that ticket, every other one of my every single other one cashed in for us. We had a perfect week, and I've had those previous and after that. So now I'm doing things differently. I have a Patreon, and I only offer my bet slips to my patrons, of course, but here's some value. Last week, if you looked at my free segment of the week, the same segment I'm doing right now, but for last week, where I give you prop bets, I turned a Valentino Shevchenko fight that was a -1400 favorite. Instead of paying $1,400 to win 100, I gave you a prop bet that was paying three times your money back, plus money. It was plus 200 something for Maya losing inside or by decision. So Shevchenko, instead of -1400, you were gonna get plus 200 on her if you picked by decision, because nobody expected her to go to decision, but because I did my due diligence, my research for you all, I found out that Maya, I told you all, wasn't, and I even had a disagreement with somebody who has another podcast that's been doing this for years, who's got thousands of subscribers, and they betted on round 2, and we even have a segment on their channel where they disagreed with me and said, no, I'm putting money on round 2. Not only did Valentina not beat Maya in round 2, but she lost that round to Maya. Because I told you guys, the Brazilians are tough. Maya, and specifically her specifically, just generally speaking, Brazilians are tough, but her specifically, she's extra tough. Even for a Brazilian, she's beyond her average toughness. That's why I told you in my research, I found out it's been almost a decade, 10 years since anybody was able to submit or knock Jennifer Maya out. So if you're going to give me plus money instead of minus 1,400 to use as a prop bet on that, I'll take it all day. So I gave you that. There's another one I gave you guys on my free prop bet. It was, well, I only gave you like 2 or 3 prop bets. They all hit, besides one, I think. Joaquin Buckley inside the distance. He finished Jordan Wright, who's somebody I told you does not like to take punishment. So as soon as you give him some combination or some adversity, some threat on the feet, he'll ball up and cower it out, and that's how he got finished. So just as we expected, that prop bet hit as well. Instead of having to pay minus 300, we found you a way to make some better money on that. Well, I did the same thing for you guys again this week. You're going to be so surprised when you hear some of these prop bets. For example, one of them is Parisian. Parisian to win in the first round is paying, so this is, mind you, one of the biggest favorites of the night. He's paying to bet him straight, it's minus 300 right now. Instead of minus 300 almost, or I think it's like minus 200. Either way, instead of minus 200 or whatever it is now, it's big minus money. You can get plus 165 if you pick Parisian to win in the first round. Mind you guys, this guy's on a 6-fight win streak, including his last opponent. He beat in the first round. All 6 of those fights, besides one, which is in the second round. So the other 5 of his 6 wins in his 6-fight win streak are all first-round finishes. And the only one that isn't was a second-round finish. So it came close to being a first round. And this Parker Porter guy is one of my fades of the week, actually. He is my fade of the week. And the reason I say that is because not just he's going to be the least physical goods. He's going to be in the worst shape physically than anybody else on the card. But he's just never evolved. This guy's been around since like way back when John Jones just started as a rookie and just began his reign in the UFC. He had fought with guys like him, and this guy's never evolved since then. He's only gotten worse. He hasn't improved, and MMA's evolved big since that time frame. You cannot, even like the Robbie Lawlers, they can't keep up anymore with the Jeff Neals and the Neil Magny's. I mean, so these guys, you see what happened in the fight with Lawler, and that's the same type of this guy's a caveman. He comes from that era. He never was able to evolve, so I'm fading him. He also lost his last fight against a guy who I had big money on because they opened it up as, or it turned into Chris Dawkins, one of the Dawkins brothers, who we just saw his brother Kyle win impressively recently. He opened up as a big underdog against Parker Porter in the last time, and he put away Parker Porter in the first round very impressively with just a couple of strikes, or 1 strike I think it was, and he put him down and knocked him out cold. And the same type of size advantage Josh Parisian is going to have over Parker Porter. Parker Porter hasn't gotten any younger, any better. Even if he's lost some weight like a lot of people are saying he has, won't make a difference. It probably will actually even be worse for him because he won't be as sturdy and capable of taking the strikes, because this is not going to be one of those high-paced fights. This is not going to be somebody is going to outpoint the other guy to win. So him losing a few pounds is not going to make the difference in whether he's going to win or lose this fight, because I see the same thing that happened in his last fight and the same thing that happened in his opponent's last 6 fights and last 8 out of 9 fights, which is going to be early finish. And that is paying plus 165 for Parisian to win in the first round. So that's a good free prop bet I'm giving you guys to find a way to give you some more value on that fight. Another one, a guy, I have a problem pronouncing his name as usual. I always have problems pronouncing names. Su Majdin, he's the guy who's fighting against Malcolm Gordon. Malcolm Gordon is very similar in a sense to like how I explained Jordan Wright was going to be when he sees some threat on the feet, and if he gets hit with enough strikes or even a couple of strikes, you'll see he reacts to it very badly, and he'll start to ball up, and he'll cower away from the strikes in the match. It will start to go for a very ugly turn for him, and he's going to try to probably get desperate to take it to the ground, which is his only path to victory. And when he does that, I can see the savvy, dangerous, excellent striker in Su Majd. Let me try to pronounce his name better. Hold on a second. Just call him Su. It starts with S-U, and I can see Su getting this done early. Su Maduroji, if he opened up as a -160, he's still -180 now. He's a pretty decent sized favorite. I could see instead of paying -1, let's see, what is he at now? Su is actually now, let's see, where do they line him up at? -320. So he actually opened up at -375. I'm sorry. Now he's -320. So he was even a bigger favorite according to the odd makers. And now some money came in on his opponent, who's not going to, I don't think, make it out of the first or second round, at least for sure not the second round. I don't think so. Betting under 2.5 round would be a great prop bet, but just having Su Majdin by TKO, so you don't have to worry about which round it is, by TKO or KO, either one. If you could just pick that prop bet, doesn't matter which round he wins in, as long as he just finishes him by TKO or KO, and that prop is paying +175, guys. 170. Remember, this guy who balls up and will not be willing to do exchanges against a guy who is a way better striker than him, longer reach, I believe, as well. So he'll be the stronger, better striker with a size advantage, a bit of a size advantage, I think. So even without the size advantage, he's going to be the better striker, and he'll be able to get inside the pocket, and he'll connect some shots. And as soon as he does connect, this guy's going to cover up, and it's going to be an early finish, in my opinion. So that's paying +175. That's another good free prop bet I'm giving you guys. Parisian in the first round is +165. Another good prop bet I would like to put some money on is paying +225, believe it or not, instead of minus whatever it is for him, even as a slight underdog. It wasn't paying too well because it's a close fight. They expect it to be. So, but if you picked Devin Clark to win by decision, and mind you that Anthony the Lionheart Smith got his nickname the Lionheart for a reason. He's not an easy guy to put away. As you could tell from the Glover fight, it was a 5-rounder, even up until the 5th round, as he was collecting his teeth off the ground and handing them to the ref. He did not want to tap in or tap out to the strikes, and he didn't want to have his corner throw in the towel, because he's very adamant about not giving up and trying to fight as he thinks he'll have the chance to fight back and maybe pull up a surprise, who knows what, maybe choke him out or something. So he thinks he's always still in the fight, even when he doesn't have a chance, like against Glover when he had no chance, and he still continued round after round to come back and try to win that fight. So I don't see, and he even showed good heart in the Rakchik fight, which I want you guys to also keep in mind that they have a similar opponent. Devin Clark did fight against Rakchik as well, and he almost beat Rakchik. At a point in the fight, it looked like it was going to be over, and he had Rakchik in some serious trouble. So fighting against the same opponent, Rakchik had a lot more trouble on his hands with Devin Clark than he did with Anthony Smith, who he dominated from beginning to end in that fight and was able to put away instead of beating him by decision. All right, and so I definitely want Devin Clark, and I found a way to get you guys more money on him by using it instead of minus money. We found you +225 on Devin Clark by decision. So there you go, guys. My fades of the week are 100%. As I said, I've never given you guys a fade of the week that didn't cash in on us or do what we expected him to do, which was lose royally. And so this week's fade of the week is Parker Porter, and I hope to keep my 100% streak going if he does lose. I hope he also loses in the first round, so that prop bet would hit as well. And I do very well on I've had weeks very recently, even on the Bellator card, where I went 100% on my prop bets. I didn't even get one single prop bet wrong because I'm very selective on my prop bets. I know they're risky, so I don't choose to play them unless I'm very confident, which is how you should be on anything you put money on. Why waste your money if you're not confident in it being for something good, right? Or useful, or to bring you back more money as an investment, which is what we are doing on this channel. We're not taking chances. A lot of handicappers, they call themselves, or whatever they want to call themselves, they'll try to tell you there's value because somebody shouldn't be as big of an underdog as he is. That's where the value side is, so you should bet that. I'm not going to bet on a guy who you agree should not be the favorite, but he just shouldn't be a bigger, he should be a smaller underdog, and so that's the reason you're going to put money on him. I don't know if about you guys, but I'm not sitting on millions of dollars to just throw it away and hope that one day that value will pay back. No, I have way too many other investment opportunities that I can use that will not pay me as well if they do cash in, but the likelihood of them cashing in is way better and way more often, so it works itself out way better than the other method that they're using, which is why then on their best weeks they don't even break even most of the time. Anyways, so now we're gonna go with underdogs. My underdogs, we were just talking about him. One of them is Devin Clark. The other guy who I even see more value in than Devin Clark is Joseph Nathan Manes. The reason I say that is because the guys who work for the casinos and the bookies who try to open up the lines as sophisticatedly and systematically advantageful to the casinos is lining this up at, they opened it up at -180 for the favorite being Joseph Nathan Manes. Now he's a big underdog, and the guy who opened up as a +140 underdog is the -140 favorite. The tables have turned because of the casual fans and people who don't know much about Joseph Nathan. Here's what I can tell you about this guy, okay? Recently, he transitioned from being a part-time MMA training athlete who fights to full-time. Now he doesn't do construction anymore, and mind you, construction is kind of a job that keeps you in good physical shape. It keeps your physical strength at tip-top shape. So I used to do it back in the days, and I remember when I used to I was the best at arm wrestling, and I felt like I was lifting weights when I was picking up bricks and concrete and throwing, you know, stuff over my head. And so it became like every day I was at work was like being at the gym. So that's the type of job he had. That's why he's going to be the better physical, stronger specimen in my opinion. He's also going to be used to fighting in a larger weight class, a heavier weight class against stronger opponents, and that's why he's going to have like a 4 or 5 inch reach advantage and height advantage. He'll be the longer guy using his jab much, and he does know how to box very well. He's a good boxer. He's got good movement, good head movement, good feet work. He's going to be able to use that length to his advantage and keep his opponent at a distance. He's also very good at the scrambles and wrestling. He's impressed me. He's gotten people into submissions even using his wrestling, transition and scrambled into submissions and beat people that way. So he's got an impressive resume, and he's only got 1 loss on his record. And remember, that was when he was part-time only, and even when he was part-time, the guy was very accomplished. He was able to hold 3 belts in 3 different weight classes. That was when he was part-time. So imagine what he should be doing now, trying to make a name for himself in the biggest organization he could have made it into. So I expect to see him at his best, and he's fighting against a guy who's gonna come in rusty. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years now. So and he, even before this layoff, he was not doing too well. He's got just as many losses in the UFC as he does wins. His record is 3-3 in the UFC. So I'm not too impressed by him, but you know, he's got only 1 notable win and nothing to really brag about. A guy who's not at his best in his career when he beat him anyway. So all right, so that's my other underdog for the night. We got Devin Clark and Joseph Nathan Manes, who's paying very well right now. He opened up as a big favorite, and now he's an underdog. So that's very good value there. And I'm going to give you guys a free free parlay pick combination. And this parlay is, I'm going to break it into 2 parlays. So actually, one for this week and one that you can use for future weeks. The one for future weeks is one that you can tag on to, for example, next week's card, Jack Hermanson versus Holland, December 5th fight night is fight night 183 is gonna have a guy I'm very high on fighting. His name is Ilya Topuria. If you guys remember, he's the one who derailed Yusuf Zalal's hype train. I had a lot of money on Ilya because I knew even though he was just making his debut that night on UFC, his career was very impressive. If you watched his fights with some very good, formidable opponents he was able to beat before coming into UFC, I knew that that match, even being the smaller guy than Yusuf, that he was going to be able to dominate Yusuf and have no problems taking him out. And he did just that, and we cashed in some good underdog money on Ilya. And this time he'll be fighting against Damon Jackson, who I don't see even being as big of a threat as Yusuf Zalal was. So if he can get past Yusuf Zalal, that's another safe parlay piece you could add on to the ones I'm going to give you for this week's card. This week's parlay picks are going to be Curtis Blaydes, who's looking better than ever. He has 7 takedown. He averages 7 takedowns per 15 minutes, so he'll do even more on the 5-round fight if it went that far, but I don't see it going that far. And Derek Lewis, now who's lost some weight, looks like, well, probably would have needed that weight. I don't think him losing weight is going to be something that will benefit him in this fight, where he could have used it to try to bully Curtis around a little bit, but now he won't have that big size advantage. And I can see Curtis, who's like a chain wrestler, like a Khabib. He's like one of the best wrestlers in that division of all time. So I can see him utilizing that type of game plan that Khabib does to his opponents and being able to put away Derek Lewis pretty early on. But either way, he's one of the biggest favorites of the night for a reason, and that's why I'm comfortable parlaying him. And so we got Curtis Blaydes as one leg of the parlay. The second leg will be Josh Parisian, who, as I said, is on a 6-fight win streak against the guy who got beat up and knocked out against a guy who's the big underdog of that fight, Chris Dawkins, who put away Parker Porter in the first round of his last fight. And again, Parker Porter is somebody who, the last time he won a fight wasn't even in the UFC. It was against a guy who, even in a smaller organization, had been on a 4 or 5 fight losing streak against guys in a bad organization. It wasn't a good organization, and the guy he beat was on a 4 or 5 fight losing streak in that organization. So that says we have nothing good we can say about, and that's why he's my fade of the week. So I'm comfortable putting Josh Parisian in my second leg of my parlay. My third leg of my parlay is the guy who I just told you guys is going to fight against the guy who will be similar to what Jordan Wright was like when it comes to exchanges and his opponent connecting some shots and striking against him. Will show that he's not the type that likes to engage in any adversity on the feet. So when he sees it, he'll get desperate and probably be put away very quickly and suddenly. So Sue Maduroji is my third leg of the parlay. Now, if you just close it there, you can add on Ilya Topuria, and that's a safe 3-legger. You can add on to future events. But for this week, if you wanted to add on an extra fight to make it juicy, paying like 4-to-1 odds, so you make like $400 for just $100, I'll throw in you could either put Nathan Manez, who we mentioned. You could put Devin Clark even. I'll let you pick, or I'll give you a safer one. I guess you can consider it safer maybe. But Miguel Baeza beating Takashi Sato. Takashi Sato is going to be not as good of a striker as Miguel Baeza. Miguel Baeza will have a longer reach advantage. He knows how to use it as well. He's good with kicks. If he uses his kicks especially, he'll be able to keep Takashi's power at a distance and at bay, so he won't be threatened by it. And we've seen he could take a punch. He did battle back through some adversity against Matt Brown, who's the way better striker than Takashi Sato. Takashi's the type that throws 1 and 2 punch combos at best, and they're very telegraphable. You can see it coming from a mile away, especially somebody who's young and quick as Miguel Baeza is, and is very fluid on this and light on his feet. He'll be able to avoid those strikes comfortably and easily without taking damage. But like I said, I've seen him take damage and bounce back from it, and it showed that he's got heart, he's got a good chin, and he's not a type of a Jordan Wright or Malcolm Gordon Malcolm Gordon, like we just mentioned, who will ball up and shy away from that type of a fight, where he would welcome it and it will bring the best out of him. Even instead of seeing him get worse, it'll actually bring the better out of him. And he's a black belt on the ground. He's a threat as well. So if it goes down there for any reason, he'll be even a bigger threat on the ground. I've seen him do some pretty wicked submissions from the ground and from the feet as well. So he's a threat everywhere it goes, and he's got an advantage everywhere it goes. And if it wasn't for recency bias, I believe he should be opening up at much bigger of a favorite, or closing as a much bigger of a favorite than he is right now. The numbers are very close, so there is a lot of value there. And he's still undefeated, so that says a lot about him, that he's going to be coming with some good momentum, and he's not going to want to lose his undefeated to somebody who's not going to be the better fighter anyway. So I don't see him being threatened by that power that the guy packs with his punches. So don't worry, because he's not very elusive. He's very predictable. He's not like some type of tricky guy who's gonna mask his like Matt Brown is the type who can mask his power punches with like a 3 or 4 piece combination that's gonna hide his power punches. But Sato is not that kind of a guy. He's more like just throw the 1-2 down the middle and you'll be able to telegraph it very quickly. He doesn't set it up very good either, so he's very stiff. Won't be a problem for Caramel Thunder. All right, guys, you have all my free picks. I gave you as much free plays as I can, most of them paying plus money. So hopefully you guys can make a killing and join the Patreon. My Patreon, now that you guys see the accuracy I'm going on every single week, you see what I'm doing. I think I'm going to have to, if I'm going to do this full time, so I can give you guys more content and do more research to get you more accurate, if it's even possibly more accurate than I already am. It's a transition to doing this full time. The rates, everybody who's already a Patreon is grandfathered in, so they will never see the rates change on them, but I may have to start changing my rates to be able to do this full time and also get you more content. So try to get in, join as soon as possible. So especially you can get my bet slips, because you can have all the right bets. You can have all the right picks, but if you don't know how to bet it and maximize the money, like how if I could turn a minus 1,400 favorite into plus money, like I did last week, if you looked at my free prop bets, I showed you how to turn Valentina from minus 1,400 to, can you imagine what I'm going to do to the guys who are slight favorites only, or underdogs even, who opened up as favorites? So my bet slips I have so many wagers that start from 50 to 60 bucks that win you in a range of $600 and $700 to even $1,000 from 60 bucks. And I have some wagers that are $100 and $150, a bit safer, but they're all pretty safe wagers if you ask me, because they're all systematically chosen to be in my parlays for a specific reason or another. And so I have a lot of nice parlays that are paying like 10-1 odds and 7-1 odds and 5. I told you guys this is going to be the best value I've seen on a single card in my life. So this is the best time for you if you're ever considering wanting to join, not just because rates are subject to change, but because there's so much money to be made on this weekend's card. So do it sooner than later, guys. Thank you for your time. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, the notifications. Time is sensitive on these things when I bring them out. So make sure you guys are on top of that. Thank you guys for your time. See you soon.